Good morning and welcome to Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. We're so excited to have a special guest, Mahima, here today. But we want to say hi to everyone out there. And we do have an adventure, a retreat coming up also to make sure that you do register for. We have it coming up in July or August. Anything you want to mention to that, Lori?
Yes, Tammy, so good to have you back. You froze for a little bit there, but we're happy to be here today. I'm Lori Beard. I am the co-host of this amazing video show or podcast, Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. And Tammy is just an amazing co-host too. And we're happy to have Mahima, a mentor, a guide. She has shared stages with Richard Branson, Lisa Nichols, and Les Brown. My goodness. So brace yourselves because we're going to have an amazing conversation with her. And yes, Tammy, we're so happy to be here. And may you please repeat, because you froze, about our upcoming retreat?
Oh, yeah. So, hey, I apologize for internet. It seems weird because you would think we'd have more problems in the wintertime, but I think it's because of the solar flares or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, we are having a retreat up here in North Idaho, the North Idaho Connections Adventure. And we would love to have you here. We'd love to meet you, get to know you, and share our experiences with nature and art. So we have in the forum on our unlockingfreedominnature.com, you will find more information. We have one in July and we have one in August. So be sure to check those out. So
Thank you
anyway,
for sharing that information.
of course, I'm so excited to have you, Mahima.
So great
Welcome.
to be here. Thank you guys for having me here. I love when women meet and share and connect in the heart and support each other. It's always such a pleasure to be a part of that beautiful connection and dialogue. So thank you for having me here today.
Well,
You're
it
welcome.
is our honor. So excited to have you here. So, and we had Mahima here before, but we really didn't hear her story. And so we want to hear her story of where she grew up and how she got to where she is. And we're going to be interrupting her a few times. I know sometimes it might sound like I'm being rude, but I'm just trying to get more deep. So, anyway, where are you from? Where did you grow up, Mahima?
I was born in Zimbabwe, which is a little country near South Africa, surrounded by other African countries. And so it shares a border with South Africa. It's a small little country. Not everybody knows it. If you guys hear my earrings, which I just wanted to wear so much because they look so cute, jingling and jangling too much, please let me know because it's very important that fashion should not
I can't hear
overcome
them, so
sound.
it's very
Okay.
cute. And I have heard of Zimbabwe. It's probably because of you.
So yeah, Zimbabwe, and I grew up there. Was born there. I lived there until I was 22 years old, and at 22, I went on my adventure. That was the real pivot of the person that I became today in terms of my work with meditation, with personal growth work. I kind of took that direction from 22 onwards. But
So,
from
what
that,
kind of adventure?
I got divorced, which was the first thing. So, I found myself already divorced after, just, I believe it was a year of marriage, but we knew each other already and had been dating for 3 years, like all together. So that was with my first husband. I always joke because I just celebrated on Saturday 26 years of marriage with my second husband. So I learned
Congratulations.
a lot. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from that first marriage. And I think the past is really to learn about what you don't want, learn about what you do want, learn about who you are and how to not keep repeating the same mistakes so you can do better next time. So I feel like when things happen to us in the past, it's really just for getting to our next level of brilliance. So that's literally what happened, that led me, let's say, to where I am now. But my childhood in Zimbabwe, that was, it was a beautiful time and a terrible time, right? There were terrible things happening in Zimbabwe during the time that I was growing up there. Zimbabwe was under the English occupation until the 80s, right? 1980. And I was like 10 years old at that time. So I remember segregation. I remember
Oh, wow.
restaurants that black people weren't allowed to go to, schools that were segregated. They segregated schools, so you could only go to school with either black people or colored people or even Indian people. So everyone was segregated and separated, and so
It
it was
just
like,
seems so crazy.
yeah, yeah, divide and conquer kind of thing. So those were rough times, and of course, my parents are brought up with those terrors, those funny stories, that mindset, and we know how much that can affect your confidence, your way of thinking. Slap some, sort of religious Roman Catholic on top of the mix, right? And so there was a lot of fear of the devil, fear of sin, fear of sex, fear of myself. So, I feel like those early formative years there was, just basically quite a strong conditioning towards negative thinking and feeling, right? Financial limitation thinking, like, narrow mindedness around success, around money, around what's possible, depending on your education or lack of education, being a woman, being a black woman. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
That it sounds like it. What's amazing is because, we hear I watched and I don't even know. I think it was based on a true story. What is it called? The Woman Warrior or something. That was
The Woman
out.
King, the Woman
The
Woman
King.
Woman
King.
King,
And I was like,
yes.
oh my gosh, this is an incredible movie. Um, because I think a lot of times people think of other places of segregation, like in the South, here in the United States, it happened. Yet in northern parts, it didn't, like it's different types of discrimination. Like I've been discriminated against, for being just a woman
Yes.
or, for just different weird things. So, but I can't imagine growing up in that atmosphere. And it just shows how small our world is. But what amazed me was like, even when people of the same color were turned against each other. And to me,
Yes.
we're all the same. We just have different skin colors. Who cares?
Mm.
I've never seen that, and I grew up with it's like no, we're treat everybody as you would want to be treated, no matter where you live in the world, right?
And
And
it's
so I
interesting
can't
because that,
imagine as a child growing up in that atmosphere. That would be so stressful in ways. And like you said, but what I love is your positive energy because it's like you either stay the victim in that or you walk out, you know. So sorry for the interrupting, but
no, not at all. Listen, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if I hadn't experienced all that and had the great fortune to have teachers come into my life to help me process, heal, and transform that shit. I'd
good
still be
morning and welcome.
hello. So,
Exactly. Well, it seems like the people that have gone through some of the worst things in their childhood or in their life have gone through some horrible experiences, but come out are some of the most incredible, strong people I know.
yes, yes. But for me, it's really about the shift in my consciousness. Because I know people that went through exactly what I went through that are still suffering because they didn't have that input. Yeah. I'm gonna get these off because I hear something. I do hear something, and it's even distracting me. So as cute as I want to look, I'd rather not be distracted by jingle jangling. So, you know, um, I've seen cousins, relatives, friends, people stuck in that matrix of thinking. So I really want to say that it's not just about going through and surviving, it's about transformation, it's about becoming a new version of yourself. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be an honesty, a deep honesty about what you think, what you feel, and how you're showing up in the world on a day to day basis. remaining in some form of a victim mindset about what happened can easily happen if there's no new information coming in, right? So, and that victim mindset is poor me, this happened to me, and that happened to me, and I got this, and that's why my life is as the way it is now. That's why I don't have money. That's why I don't have power. That's why I didn't get a good education, da 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 da. Right? So I must admit that I do know people where they went through the same story that I did, but unfortunately for them, they didn't have the opportunity or didn't take the opportunity because, I have, as I said, some of my own people, I love them dearly, but they're still stuck in the matrix of negative belief systems and victim mindset. So I can't over stress to anyone who's experienced any type of trauma, childhood trauma, even if it didn't happen in your childhood, if it happened later on in your young adult life or wherever you feel it happened, do the work. Do the work and get to another place that's going to blow your mind. And I remember when I met one of, the teachers that made a huge impact on me, like Lisa Nichols, maybe you guys know her, right? How she talked about creating a life that would be unrecognizable. Like that just sounded so like I'd already done a lot of work at that point when I met her. I still didn't, I knew there was something inside me that still needed to be untapped. So I was so happy for her to come along and mirror to me and show me a whole other level that I still wasn't saying yes to or allowing to myself, right? And that was, let's say, instead of just sort of like I hadn't written my international best-selling book, I hadn't thought of making global impact with my company. I was playing a small game. I was much better than I'd been. I was at a place that most people looking at me would be like, oh my God, Mahima, amazing life. You live in Switzerland, you have this beautiful husband, you're doing your meditation work. Wow. Yeah. But I was playing such a tiny game still. Yeah, at that point. And I think I was around 40 something, right? So already with 20 years of personal growth work under my belt. That's why I think it's important for people to know it's just never too late to really ask yourself, am I still telling myself a story or is there more for me to untap?
So here's a question. How old were you when you decided that you needed to change? You needed to redo your life, be different.
So the first time that happened, because I've had many birth and re-deaths into exactly that question. I'm even going through one right now. Okay. Like a post-COVID rebirth and death process. I
I
actually
love
just
it.
talked about this on my latest podcast, that
Yeah.
inside of your life, there's going to be moments where you're giving birth to a new version of yourself, which is untapping more of your intelligence, your brilliance. It's like you've done with this level and now you need to move to the next level. And you know that by the feeling that there's something that's not quite right. You feel a little bit stuck. You're not, you might have a lot of nice things, but still be like, like, why am I not fulfilled? It's only your next level knocking on the door saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's time to move forward again, right? So the first, for me, the first massive growth was leaving Zimbabwe and going to India and starting to meditate and reflect on my inner world, at 22. So that was the first shift into, oh, there's this world of healing, of transformation. I had no clue about it. Hello, thank you, right? And then the next shift I would say happened when my husband and I got together and started trying to co-create a life together. So there was the death of the single woman, independent, spiritually awake, trying to do stuff on her own. Suddenly there's this union of two people trying to work on their trip together. So we did that, and we went through all kinds of things, including a bankruptcy, which was extremely challenging, but I learned so much from that. It's pure gold, the lessons I learned when we lost everything, because I learned to embody the teachings of my teacher in India, to find an inner peace, a love and a joy that does not depend on external circumstances, events, or people. I could now embody that teaching, because money is it's a lot of tension for a lot of people. Like the idea of losing money is just like right. But when you have lost it and then you see that Okay, I'm still here. I can still laugh. I can still dance. I can still be me. Money does not define me. And on top of that, I can manifest, 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 even without anything. There's so much abundance that's coming to me every single day. So I never need to worry about this. I never need to be concerned about this. I'm always going to be taken care of because I saw it when we were, in that bankruptcy, how much beauty we were manifesting.
I
So,
love that because
yeah.
people don't realize how much we are blessed and how much we do have around us because a lot of times they're just focused on the negativity. It's like I had wished somebody a happy birthday the other day, and I found that he was actually thinking of suicide. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I had known, and this is a speaker, somebody that, somebody you would never think of. And I was like, one of the things I said, you need to focus on the positive things of life, And he was playing the victim. And I'm like, don't play the victim just because you're sick and stuff right now. Because I've been there, it's like we've all been sick. But when we've gone through circumstances like you, and I've been there too, it's hard. It's not easy. But when you start looking at the positive things that we are blessed with daily, what we can be grateful for, even if it's just one thing, it's it helps us through anything else, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that process your friend's going through is what I referred to before as a birth and a death. So a part of him is dying something and a rebirth is happening, right? And it's important to understand that process and not to succumb, let's say, to the fact that you're literally going through a loss, right? Whether that's a loss of finances, a loss of health, a loss of whatever, right? So that something else can be learned about your true power, your true resilience, right? And then he has people like you able to support him, to help him shift and move, because we all need that support. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in the game. And that's why I think people underestimate the power of mentorship, right? Like,
Yeah.
I believe in mentorship to the extent where I will continue to be mentored. Like, there's like, if there's never going to be a period where I'll be like, I'm so enlightened. Like, why not? If I can get someone to help me go faster where I want to go, why wouldn't I? Right. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, get the help. It doesn't matter where you are. Drop your ego, right? If you feel like you're struggling, you will manifest the right teacher. You only have to have the smartness to take that help when it comes. Yeah. And you'll know because they'll be saying exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. And
you
you'll be
had this one of the same coaches, mentors that Lori and I both had, and that's Kane and
yeah.
Alessia Minkus, and that's how we've met, of course. And they're incredible. I love their vibrations. They're like so positive. And that's the person I want to be, is to always be there for somebody because like you said, you never know what you're going through. But it's like it saves us so much time when we have somebody that we can bounce stuff off. Even if it's an accountability partner, you need that mentor, you need that coach, just even for everyday life, somebody that's kind and uplifting.
Absolutely true. And I love Kane and Alessia. Again, a game changing moment when I met them. Talk about death and, birth processes. I was definitely going through, had found myself financially dependent on my husband with 40 something years old because we tried to had kids, blah, 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 long story. And it can happen, as you know, as a woman, you don't, plan on that, but then things start happening and you find yourself in that situation. And I had a deep, like, wake up call with myself, and I felt like I want to get out of this. Like, I don't want to be dependent on anyone financially. And it started to really feel like it was, it became a shouting in my soul that I needed to change the scenario. Right. So I couldn't, like, there was a time where whatever story I could tell myself and it all sounded fine and felt fine. And this is when you know you're ready for that rebirth. When you start feeling your soul going, I'm not leaving you alone with this. I'm like, I'm on you with this, right? And that's what I felt. I just started to feel I have to change this now, right? And as I owned that, and I think that's the secret of growth, is that you just kind of like radical honesty with yourself about where you're stuck and what needs to shift, right? And just to be even more vulnerable, I started to ask myself, like, would I stay with Kai if I wasn't financially dependent on him? Yeah, that's how deep the I kind of went into this, because I started to feel like I'm not sure if what I'm feeling here is fear of like being alone out in the world, or if I'm really in love with this person, or am I just stuck because yeah. So those thoughts started to feel very uncomfortable. And that's when I knew this is something that needs my attention and that I want to change. So honesty, declaration, and then watch the magic happen. I'm sitting in Kane and Alessia's event by chance, okay? Because I had some hair products. As you guys can see, I do have like special hair, right?
Hey,
And
it's
it has
beautiful.
special needs. Thank you. And then this lady had invited me to pick up some of these products. She said, I'm going to this event. Kane and Alessia Minkus are going to be there. Why don't you come? I didn't know them. I didn't know the thing. I didn't knew nothing. But what I'd already decided is I needed business coaching, because my beautiful practice with helping people to feel empowered was just stuck and wasn't developing. Yes, I was making some money from it, but I would not be able to live on that money here in Switzerland. Yes. Did it support us a bit in what we were doing? Yes, but it didn't allow me to be independent. So I was like, I need business coaches. So I'm sitting in this event. Kane comes on the stage. It's one of those 2 hour free events. He's like, tra la la la, tra la la la, tra la la la, tra la la la. Everything he's saying is just hitting me like, yes, 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 yes. Come to my 3 day event. Yes. Okay. I signed up immediately. I'm sort of walking out of this thing a little baffled, but I'm signed up for a 3 day event. I go to the 3 day event. It's blowing my mind even further. And it's a $30,000 investment. Yeah. And I'm not even, that's what I'm making in 1 year with my business at that point. Right. So I'm thinking, and I don't even have that money, but I'm clear because I believe in the power of manifestation. I believe in the power of coaching. I believe in the power of people helping you to, get to levels that you can't go by yourself. So I'm thinking, I've got to do this. I've got to do this course. So, and I was very surprised at how calm I felt when I said yes to the 30,000, right? I expected myself to fall in and out of like doubt and yes and no, but it was just so clear for me. It was like, yes, this is what I asked for. So I jumped in. I started making that money like tak, 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 because I was ready. I was ready for the work. And I went out of my comfort zone. Ken and Leslie will tell you. They were on the phone talking to me minutes before I had to do sales conversations I'd never done before. And I was just like shaking, but doing it. And it was just amazing. Amazing to be on that ride with them and to gain my independence that I will can never lose, because it's like riding a bike. When you learn these things, you build a confidence that no one can ever take away from you, right? So it goes far beyond whatever 30,000, 40, 50, however money, how much money you would have spent there, what that gives you in terms of the freedom, right? And needless to say, we went to millions of dollars with that investment with Kane and Lesia. And also
That's
Lisa was part of that rise for me as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know you are one of their favorite students.
They were
Mahima, I
great
just love this
mentors.
process. I love the fact that you are sharing how you rose, right? Like a phoenix, where you rebuilt yourself and you shifted and you transitioned and transformed. And I love that you probably, I'm interpreting in my own way what I heard you say. Basically, instead of surviving, we need to thrive. And then take our pains and turn them into our passions and our I don't know, like when we have trials, then use that to build us and help build others. So I wanted to thank you so much. Lots of people are watching live and they're saying Mahima is a great guest. What a great story. One of them
Thank
shared
you.
how it was so important they appreciate your question about your partner, right? Your spouse, like, am I with this person for the right reasons? And then how you had to have honesty with you. I love, can you tell us a little bit more about the part of declaration? Like, what is it that the audience watching that are sitting on the fence about, yes, hiring a coach or a mentor, joining a program, going to one of our retreats. I mean, and then because what we offer is it's experimenting something new, is discovering new things in nature and within themselves so they can have the result, which is transformation. What can you tell someone that is on the fence about taking any of these steps for themselves, whether is with us or someone else? What is the part of the declaration? What is it that they need to declare to themselves and the world?
Such a great question. The first thing is, I can't do this by myself. I have tried it. I have tried. I have tried and I'm stuck. Okay, so that's the first declaration. Okay.
Does it have to do with insanity? Like the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing all over again, expecting new results?
Exactly. It's thinking you have information that you just don't have. Like, I've never built an expert business into millions. Like, just never. How would I be able to do that? I don't even comprehend the story. So I would need to be honest enough to myself to say, what do I really want? Do I want an expert business that creates millions? That's the first question, right? Do I feel like that is something I even want? If it is, if you want something that's like so big and that, feels like, I don't know how to do this, because if I knew, I would have already done it. So let's say if you're in a relationship and you're struggling, you're not able to have the harmony, the great conversations, the beautiful sex, the laughter, the beauty you deserve. Stop trying to do it on your own. Go out and find people who've done it. Invest in yourself and invest in your relationship. Get the help you need. Here's the thing. When you invest big, and I tell people this all the time because I believe it, because I've done it multiple times, you show up big. Okay, so even recently, I bought courses for like $1,000. I haven't even shown up to log in for that course. Okay, that's just the reality of making smaller investments. It sounds very tempting, and but you can just leave it lying there and not bother. Now you start to invest 30,000, 20,000, something that feels uncomfortable for you, 6,000, whatever. You bring a different attitude. You bring a different willingness to listen and to show up. And so, I feel like I'm a bit spoiled working with people that are in that mindset, because that's how I get them the amazing results, and that's what Kane and Leslie taught me, right? And Lisa too, she taught me the same thing. People need to invest in order to show up.
And
So
what that I've been taught to, Mahima, is like when you pay more attention. Because the
exactly,
biggest the investment, the biggest expectation you have from it, and the more you're going to feel committed to it. Yeah.
exactly,
Well,
exactly. And the
and
more
I've
you're going to go ahead,
I'll
go
go
ahead.
ahead. So anyway, what I was saying is I've seen that because I'm like you. I've invested lots of money, we're talking thousands, right? But it's a learning education. It's paying for an education you can't get anyplace else, because we're paying for the experiences that they went through, and they help us so much. Our mentors and coaches, I couldn't imagine not having them with me, because like you said, I got sick of doing it on my own and struggling in it, taking time. And it's like, I don't have time to waste.
Yes.
We only have so much time in the day, so I want to be there. And I know from experience when I was doing like all of my color analysis and color draping, working in the fashion world, if someone would ask me, hey, would you tell me what colors look best on me, or tell me if this help me pick out this wardrobe? If I didn't charge them, they just like, oh, whatever, or I disagree with you. But when they pay for it, they're like, oh, yes, that sounds amazing. And they follow your advice. And
Yes.
it's such a difference, because you're giving them the same advice, but they won't listen unless they're paying for it. And what people don't even realize, even on here, we are sharing so many golden nuggets, and Mahima is, if you even go back and look at all of our Facebook lives, There's so much here because you're listening to coaches, mentors that are giving you advice,
And because
from
of our love and desire and passion to reach and show up this way. So Mahima is doing this because of her passion, her love for women and communities like ours. And there's different ways to do it and reach, but we're paying attention who's going to embrace other levels of commitments with us.
So
Yes.
yeah, and so I
So
want to say thanks again, Mahima, for all your coaching out there because you are such a strong woman because of everything you've gone through and your experiences. And you always make when I see your TikTok video or Instagram or wherever, I'm always either laughing or something. And I try to at least respond with a heart. But thank you. You always brighten my day when I see it.
thank you so much, ladies. And yeah, I just want to encourage anyone listening here to listen to your heart when you're choosing coaches. Get out of your head. I know this. You knew the moment you met your coach. You knew the moment. Don't let the mind fuck stop you. Okay? Because it's a feeling. It's just a feeling that lights up here, and you want to hear more and you want to hear more, and you just feel like, oh my God, this is so good, this is so good, I want more of this. And that magic, you need to follow and respect that magic, right? What happens is we usually shut that down and we go back into analyzing, but this, but that, but
We
the other
second
thing.
guess it. We second guess it.
Yes, yes. And then by that time, we're so confused because we've now started to overthink everything. And now we're looking for holes to poke into the story, you know?
So, but here's one advice thing that I'm going to say that Kana Lessa gave me. Never hire a coach that's had a perfect life, that
Mm,
has not experienced anything, that just tells you about all the grand and all the good things
yes.
because they really didn't have the experiences. So
Well, I
do,
don't think
but
personal
Mahima is a
business.
great coach.
Yeah,
So,
Thank
I don't
you.
think that
but there are people out there that will talk a lot, and you see them on YouTube videos about how great they are. You shouldn't have to tell anybody how great you are. People
well,
should be able to
the thing
tell by
is,
just listening to you.
there's no human being that's had a perfect life. Had a perfect life, then there's that's the first red flag. And because they're probably teaching and preaching that they've had such a life, now you can perceive and have the power of discernment to know, there's something off here. A coach that's being resilient, that has gone through something, overcame it, and now has the tools, the knowledge, and wisdom to share with you.
Yes, and I want to mention something here as well, guys. I believe that you will continue to go through stuff. It's not like the stuff I've gone through is in my past. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. I'm going through stuff right now.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I would say that COVID was a wake up call for the world and for all of us, right? And it required us to lean in even more because it was very disruptive. It was disruptive in our relationships. It was disruptive in our business. It was disruptive in every aspect of our lives. We needed to re examine what we want, where we're going, what we're doing, because of the fact that it was suddenly like, everything came to a grinding halt. I feel like the world is still recovering from what happened in COVID. Some people managed to thrive during COVID because they, had the right idea or the right moment that it's just their moment to do that. And other people struggled during COVID. Like I would say our company struggled during COVID, not specifically directly during it, because we still had momentum from before COVID. But because we were an events business, we literally jumped on planes and went all over the world. We traveled all over Europe, going to different cities, meeting people live in rooms and connecting with them we did serve online, like I believe in online uh, transformation and change. And so I don't feel like I need to be in a room with someone. So, hey, benefit of COVID that we leaned in there and I really learned and built that muscle. So I felt like COVID was very disruptive for me, for my relationships. I lost some very dear friends of mine, and it was extremely challenging. And I had to become a leader while things weren't flying and amazing, right? So leadership, when you have success and you're the leader and everyone is like, oh my god, this is so exciting, and we're all together and you're leading this great team in a successful, this is lovely. But when things start to come apart and be fragmented, and you still have to show up, right?
It's
I
like new
learned that.
level, new devil is what I've
I
heard.
learned that. I had to wake the fuck up. Okay. I did. I just went through, I would say, a very tough personal time of challenge, right? And also business challenge. And I feel like the lessons I've learned are so rich and so yummy, and actually preparing me for the rebirth of my next level of Mahima.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen other people go through this. The thing is, we can sit, I can sit here pretending like, it was just all in my childhood, all the pain and suffering is just over there, and I'm like, have been just shining light since then. But no, the truth is that you will keep having challenges. If you're in a human body and you're breathing, you have no clue what's going to come.
No, just
That's why you need to
obstacles,
prepare
aren't they?
yourself,
That
right?
we have to there's a move out of our way. So, but like you said,
Exactly.
every day is a challenge because there's always a challenge in it or an obstacle or something doesn't go like last week. I had it all planned out and not one day except for the Facebook Live went the way I had planned. But I just worked with it, redid my whole schedule each day, so I'd be there for my client and everything. But it worked, and we have to be open to having to switch stuff up if we need to.
Yes,
Because
yes.
at the same
And
time,
rise,
we're blessing somebody else or learning something new.
100%. And the thing is, rising no matter what. Like, as I said before, you can be a leader of a team when things are going well, but when things aren't going well, you've got to learn that. I needed to
Yeah.
learn that. I hadn't built that muscle, right?
And roll with the
Of
punches is what we say it. Roll with the punches.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I love how you said also that honesty, that declaration, and then that's when the magic happens. To the
yes,
people, I keep talking to our audience because they're heart-centered. They love to give, 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 and they neglect the most precious thing, which is themselves.
yes,
And then they are burned out. They're depleted of energy sometimes. And this self-care game needs to happen. But then
yes,
also, Mahima, with all your childhood problems, and then maybe they were not self-inflicted, but you grew up, you started making your own decisions. And that's when also you are, I like it. What I hear is that you're taking responsibility. When is it because of everything you learned, like the $30,000 investment in this amazing program, etc.? You said then the magic happens. What's been so magical in your life? And I'm sure all the temporal material thing is just amazingly magical. And that opens doors to opportunities and experiences. Other than that, what's been the magic?
The magic is knowing an inner peace, a love, and a joy that's not dependent on external circumstances, events,
Mm.
or people. The magic is trusting myself that I can face whatever life brings me, and I can still feel joy, and I can still feel laugh and feel light. The magic is knowing yourself in the fullness of who you are, not just the perspective of what people see you and look and they project, oh, Mahima, da da da, but knowing your depth of the total self and loving every bit of it. Loving the mean, crying because her friends didn't, treat her the way she wanted, or having an experience that, didn't make me feel like the queen that I am, but I still showed up with my dignity and my heart open and was vulnerable. And then knowing the other part of Mahima that's just beautiful, shiny light of perfection, literally because it's my soul, not because of Mahima, but your soul self that allows you to connect to trees, to plants, to rivers, to trees, to other people in a way that you can't even think about it. Like you would need to experience it, your soul self, your free self, your whole self. So this is for me the magic of being able to understand who you are, why you're here on this planet, and what's the point of all of this. So those questions are asked and answered. And so that's for me the magic. The magic is knowing yourself. The magic is
Mm.
being who you are, accepting yourself in all of who you are. Yeah.
Mm.
So this voice in my head has become a more loving, respectful, and kind voice. This voice in my head can allow Mahima to not be perfect, to be whatever she is, because I will be, right? And be okay with that. So I don't feel like I need to show up and show a face of something, right? You might see me somewhere misbehaving or acting up a certain way. That's also part of me. I'm not gonna be perfect because I'm human, right? And
Yes.
that means being messy as well,
Mhm.
right? So I think that's for me the magic. It's just self-love. It's self-love and self-acceptance and feeling comfortable in your own skin, no matter what's going on.
But
And you
here's
know
the
what?
question. Here's the question. Some people say, hey, this is who I am, and that's it. You have to face it and accept it and deal with it. Is that the attitude?
No, because we need to we need to continue working on ourselves to become the best version of ourselves, right?
Exactly. Yes.
That being said, I can't make you love me if
Right.
you won't. Okay? Like, I
Exactly.
can't be here with a begging bowl saying, please love me. I can't distort myself into something that I think is going to get your approval or make you love me more, right? So stop that game. Just be yourself, first of all. Own that you have ugly parts of you and just get those ugly parts, in your heart and be okay with it. Okay. And
Yes.
you've got beautiful parts. You've got amazing parts and shiny parts, and those are also gorgeous. So, when Tammy said, like, like people shouldn't say how great they are. Well, no, I disagree with that. Like, toot your own horn, because who else is going to toot it for you? Okay.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
yeah
So
if you've
we
achieved
need to
things, if you
yeah.
feel like there's things that people need to know about you because they wouldn't know if you didn't tell them,
Right.
right? I think it's fantastic to say I'm an
Oh, well, yeah,
award-winning
that I
trainer.
do. I'm just saying, but a lot of times people say I'm this and that, but it's like,
And
it's
they're
almost like
not.
they're having to prove to somebody. It's kind of when I say I'm an artist, people look at me like, yeah, right. And then I show them a picture on my phone of what I do, and they're like, oh, you are an artist,
Yes.
because sometimes it's kind of like when somebody tells me that, well, I'm a Christian, so you should hire me. I just look at
Mm,
that. You're just a person. I want to see what your values really are to me.
yes.
And that's what I'm
Yes.
talking about. And yes, I have no problem with, yes, we definitely have to toot our own
We
horn.
do. You
And
look, we're in the scene, and I understand you too, Tammy, very well. We're in the scene. It's changed a lot. The space of personal growth work, right? So, I feel like people painting pictures of, like, rosy toesy. It's all part of the social media. We're all human. We have shadow and we have light. Yes. So
yes.
if you spend enough time with someone, you're gonna see some shadow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay. And so own your own shadow, so you're not so like, oh my God, when you see someone else's shadow, right? Because I think that's just the problem.
I
So
love
many people, yeah, so go
that
ahead.
concept, the shadow.
Mhm.
The
Thanks.
Mm,
shadow with shining. Yes, like I love how Mahima also said we all have blind spots. We all have dark spots that we don't see our own imperfections and the things that annoy some other people. And
true.
what I was saying also, Mahima, was like when we show up like this perfect human being, and then that's the disappointment. We all seen that movie or cartoon animation story where somebody's a fan of a celebrity, and then they get to meet the celebrity and they get super disappointed because it's a total new image, different image and different personality. So we need to be so authentic unapologetically and know that our shadows and those dark spots and blind spots that we have, we're going to continue working on. We are
Exactly.
a work in progress, but at least knowing that we are doing something about it is so great. And especially when people, I have learned so much that feedback is a gift. When people tell you that you have this issue or this imperfection or whatever, and it's the source is important because it has to be someone that you respect, that you love, that you know that that person has the best interest in you. And that's thus I know Mahima is saying coaches, mentors, right? My coach told me, you have a book inside of you. You have plenty books inside of you. Start with one. And no other person saw that potential in me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's wonderful. Thank you for encouraging me. And then now I'm a published author. Mahima, you are too. And Tammy, you are too. But because we overcame those self-doubt, we believed in ourselves and we showed up. We showed up and we did it. And that is what we want as coaches, the three of us here. I know that's what we want to deliver and offer. That hope, that knowledge and wisdom, that once you are honest with yourself, declare yourself that you want something else and something more, not out of greed, but out of growing up to your fullest potential, then the magic happens.
So,
100%. Yes.
Mahima, do you
Well
want to
said.
tell us a little bit about what you do?
What do I do? I help people shift identity. Yes, away from, let's say, negative, sad to positive, powerful. Away from, ego, mind, my name, my story, my age, my religion, my relationship. So that's the part of you that's not going to be around forever, right? So I call that the ego mind, little me, to spiritual identity, soul identity with your whole self, where you feel whole, you feel complete, you feel alive, you feel vibrant, you can feel joy, you can feel alignment, you can feel beauty as part of your everyday life, not just on some special occasions, when you've been conditioned, oh, it's my wedding day, it's my wedding anniversary, it's my, and then I can be happy. But like when you shift that identity, that's part of your day to day today, celebrating your life, bringing light and joy into the world. So, I really help people to find and love themselves in fullness and wholeness. Like what I explained earlier, this being able to trust yourself, because I see so many people don't trust themselves, right? I might break down. I burnt out. I don't trust myself. And so you've got to live with yourself 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So this is the most important relationship you're going to enter ever. So I help people make this relationship rich and delicious and loving and beautiful. And I do that through helping them shift their identity away from ego mind to soul spiritual self. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Make that shift. They get different things that they need out of that. Like some people will get out of toxic relationships that they've been stuck in for, like feeling like I've been stuck in this toxic relationship. I don't know how to break free. It can be a man-woman relationship. Some people will get out of financial mess that they've been stuck in. Some people will get, out of a health story that they couldn't get out of. So, different results happen. And so that's why even with everyone who helps me with my marketing and all of this, to like Mahima, people want that result. They want to say you're going to help them lose the weight. They want to say you're going to help them get out. Yeah, it's very difficult to define that, because what I can tell you is you're going to get out of misery into happiness, and that's the best gift you can give yourself, right? That's what I learned from the young age of 22. That's how I got out of, like, wanting to kill myself, wanting, all of the horrible things that where I could be today, right? Was just by learning to go inside and learn about myself, so that I felt comfortable in my own skin. It's too underrated, the power of that in this world. Yes. So I highly recommend you, if you haven't already done this journey, like really done it, so that you are like, whatever life shows me, I trust myself. Join me. let's do it. Okay. Let's get you there. Yeah. Rock solid relationship with yourself.
That's awesome. Have our guests had any other questions, Lori? Because I know time's gone by so fast. We're gonna have to
Oh my
close.
God,
Yes,
really? Shoot.
yes. So it's been amazing
Okay.
to have you as always, Mahima. And we want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for your goodness and great nuggets of wisdom. People are so excited about your knowledge. People are just agreeing and saying amazing things about you, about your journey. And yeah, I don't see any questions right now, but we are definitely appreciative of you, especially those last words of encouragement. Your best version of yourself is the best gift. Be honest with yourself, declare whatever it is to the world, to divine, and make it happen because the magic is so enjoyable. And yes, it's an ongoing process. New level, new devil, but instead of surviving, you are meant to thrive, especially with coaches, mentors that are guiding you and helping you with accountability, with seeing in you what you are not able to see in yourself. And you can do it. You can rise above the ashes and you can build that resiliency for you to be amazing because people are waiting for you. That best version of yourself, people are excited to see because people out there need your awesomeness and your own life's lessons for that are going to be more relatable to them. So thank you, Mahima.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
guys.
So, and
Thank
what's funny is we were
you.
talking about identity last week because I started a book called The Technicolor Woman, which she starts it all out with you need to find your identity because so many times somebody tells us we should do this or we should be this or we listen to all of these other things when like you said we need to take a look in the mirror. So, I love it. Mahima has so much advice to offer you. So, and I know I put her site on there, but of course she will go ahead and she can share it in the link in our stuff. So, if you have any questions for her, please ask her. Mahima, it was an honor. Time went so fast. So,
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. And I just want to close by saying to everyone, you came into this world with nothing. You're going to leave with nothing. So, this game between birth and death, which you have no clue when that's going to be, this mystery is something that is worth figuring out how to live with dignity and with grace. Yes, your life deserves to be beautiful and alive and lovely, but you need to claim that. So claim your love, claim your joy, and don't let anyone take that away. Yeah, thank you.
very true.
Thank
Great
you.
advice. Thank
That
you.
is
And thanks
beautiful.
for everyone who've been here. And be sure to share and like. We appreciate you. Thanks and have a wonderful week.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Bye, Angel.